My name is Harold. I use the TEPS. I am the Director of Commerce for the City of Philadelphia. Prior to that, I was CEO of PRWT Service. My duty is to introduce the speaker. So when I was President and CEO of PRWT, I had the wherewithal to have discretionary dollars at my disposal and met this woman out of Chicago who quit her job to go on this national campaign to be the chief advocate about buying from black businesses. Now, I've known Maggie now, it's probably 5 or 6 years, somewhere around that length of time, and I do not know anybody else, none whatsoever, who is more passionate about the subject. Baby Earl would be in the same category, okay? But there are a few people, but tonight it's about Maggie, who is from Chicago, about their commitment to this agenda. Now, she wrote a book, and she'll talk more about that and what she learned about what we do and what we don't do. But let me say this about Maggie. She walks the talk. And if we were to follow her lead, we could create a lot of jobs and improve our neighborhoods. But let me close by saying the following, because she's doing it. This is not work for the light of heart, okay? And this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. It took us decades to get to this plight, and it's going to take us a couple of decades to resolve it. But we'll do it one day at a time, and it starts with how we choose to spend our money. And there's no better champion to talk about what we need to do and how we need to do it and what she learned when she led this initiative through her research and her book. And I would like to introduce you and reintroduce to others an outstanding, phenomenal woman, Maggie Anderson.
I'm Maggie Anderson, and yes, like the invitation said, my family took a stand to completely live off black businesses, support black professionals, and buy black-made products for an entire year. Here are some highlights from that year. We spent or otherwise invested $94,000 with black-owned businesses that we would not have otherwise. Over 90% of our spending went directly into poor, underserved black areas. We went without. We were disappointed by the number of markets and industries where we still suffer from a complete lack of representation. We're disheartened by our own people's lack of pride and solidarity. Our hearts ached seeing up close what black people, our people, have to go through in these retail and food deserts. Can't get a decent piece of fish or a banana. Forced to settle for inferior goods and services doled out from under bulletproof glass from people who won't live with us, sometimes don't even hire us, but use our money to send their kids to college. We lived and breathed the racial divides that still exist in this economy, the racist exploitation of black neighborhoods and the raiding of black wealth, the systematic neglect and subjugation of black-owned businesses. We lived and exposed the discrimination and the unfair challenges our black-owned businesses face. All of it was so daunting, so depressing, devastating, really. But what could one couple do about all of that? But we also learned that in the Asian American community, the dollar circulates among that community's banks and retailers and professionals for about 28 days before it goes outside. Our Jewish friends, they keep their dollar for 21 days before it goes outside. Our other ethnic Europeans, say your Italians, Jewish people, Polish people, Greeks, they keep their dollar for about 15 to 17 days. Our Hispanic brothers and sisters, a week. We keep our dollar for 6 hours. In the black community, the dollar lives for 6 hours. That's a really sad fact, and that fact has devastating impacts. And that's a fact that we can do something about. So the good news is we can do something about that fact. We can control where our money goes and how long it stays in our community. If we were to increase our spending from the 2 to 3% where it is now, which is pathetic and embarrassing, to just 10%, y'all don't have to do what I did. 10% of your spending, we could create 1 million new jobs. And now, I'm after the 1 million jobs. I want those 1 million jobs. My mission is not black America versus white America. I envision an America with all kinds of people going to our grocery stores, going to our hotels, finding and loving our products on the shelves at the mass retailers, depending on our professionals, and coming to us for culturally relevant products in our community, banking with us, staying at our hotels like we do everyone else. That's the America that I'm fighting for. And we believe that Maggie's List can change the world. Just imagine the empowerment experiment. Everyone loves the empowerment experiment. The commitment, the spending, the businesses we showcase, the tracking of the money and how it impacted the businesses in the community. Imagine that scaled. That's what MaggiesList.com wants to do. Maggie's List mission is to help everyday consumers find the businesses and live the life that I live. Black-owned banks, local black-owned businesses, your dry cleaners, your daycares, your car washes, coffee shops, stuff that you don't think about. The businesses that you don't know exist at the airport. The businesses that have black inputs. So Oreo cookies, did you know that the white stuff in the middle is made from a black firm, a wonderful black family that employs 200 people? Buy Oreo cookies. That's the kind of stuff that you're going to find at Maggie's List. Black-owned hotels, black-owned B&Bs, all these things that you don't think about. I will show you how to make sure that you put money back into our community every day. That's what Maggie's List does. And beyond that, Maggie's List is there to facilitate and track our movement, to put it out in the public that there is a new movement now today. Black people coming together, some not black, coming together to make sure that there is no more economic injustice in America. We are going to make sure that businesses start using our black MBEs, more engagement and development and opportunity for black suppliers and vendors and franchisees. None of that is going to happen unless there is an organized, national, consumer-based movement. They are not going to change because we tell them to. They're going to change because we make them change. And I'm proud to say that that's what I contribute to our cause. I'm the consumer part of the movement. I can't do what Suleiman does. I can't do what our fantastic chambers do. I can't do what the NMSDC does. But I can inspire my consumers because of what I did to put a little bit more money into our community, to proactively and proudly and publicly support black-owned businesses. And together, we can speak out for the MBEs to say and demand that if you want us to do business with you, you got to do business with us first. That's what Maggie's List is going to do. Think about it. Magic Shade, Dark and Lovely, Roots of Nature, Let's Jam, Spoken Waves, Carefree Curl, Motions, all those brands, the brands that only black people buy every day, are owned by L'Oreal, a company based out of France. And L'Oreal is making wonderful commercials with our pretty black people in them, putting our beautiful black people on the boxes and the kente cloth and the red, black, and green. But L'Oreal is not doing business with black firms. I do my research. I got just as much up here as I do in here. I got a JD and an MBA from the University of Chicago. President Barack Obama was my professor there. I'm smart. I'm smart. I don't just have my fist in the air. I got my book in hand. So I did my research, and I found one. They have one black supplier. All those brands, all those billions that they make off of our consumers. One black supplier who worked for the company in France. So they got one black supplier in France who worked for the company. Now, there are tons of quality black MBEs that could do so much for L'Oreal. IT, printing, trucking, they can manufacture the inputs for the products. All those wonderful brands. There's something that black firms can do. But those guys don't live in France and they don't work for L'Oreal now. They have to find a way to find more black businesses. And we should know about them. That should be their marketing to us. They should be saying, do business with us because we do business with Alpha Office Supplies for our office supplies. We do business with Omega Optical. They should be able to say that. They don't say that now, but we shop with them anyway. Maggie's List is going to stop that. If you want us to do business with you, you got to do business with us. We have to fight for transparency, for truth, for justice, for black-owned businesses as a national alliance. So let me give you one more anecdote. I asked the question. I I asked Hennessy, and they won't tell how much money they make off black consumers. But again, I have just as much up here as I do in here, and I did my own research, and I learned that at least 60% of Hennessy's U.S. revenues come from black people. 60%. Then, after I exposed that truth, Wall Street Journal followed up with their own research, and they put it at above 80%. 80% of their money comes from us. And with their company, therefore, wholly dependent on us to survive, they don't even have a supplier diversity program. Meaning they don't even have the fake black-white handshake on the website trying to fool somebody, much less a practice to engage black distributors, black vendors, black suppliers, and advertise in black press. I hope I can get you to support Maggie's List. Get on Maggie's List, join as a consumer or business. We have to showcase our unity, sharp, proud, ready, and strong. So I asked God, what else do I need to do? Because my people aren't making the changes, at least not as fast as we need. And when we do try, it just feels like we begging and bribing and cowering and kowtowing. We need something better than that. So what am I doing wrong? I asked, Lord. And you know what God said to me, Broderick? He said, this ain't about you, Maggie. This ain't about you. This ain't about your kids going without fresh food. This ain't about you sacrificing your mama. And I have blessed you. I blessed you by giving you the answer and letting you live it and feel it and suffer through it. I blessed you by letting you do that and teach it. I blessed you. And that's what I realized, that what I thought was a burden was actually a blessing. That's when I saw it. Do you believe that us, that we are strong, even though they say we are weak? If you really do believe that, if you really do believe that, I need you to take part in this movement. There are so many things you can do. Broderick will tell you, will teach you, will ask you for help. Don't ignore him. Don't go home and let this feeling that you have linger and die. Do something about it tonight. We need your help for Maggie's List to be a success. It is brought to you by the Empowerment Experiment Foundation, my 501c3. We're not trying to get rich off this. We are trying to scale the impact of the Empowerment Experiment. I need you for that. So please, let's not cry about Trayvon and the 4 little girls and Mima and all the terrible things that are happening in our community now. Cry about that. You can. But cry now, too, at the wonder of God, who would align us and unite us like this. Cry for that. Clap for that. Thank you so much. Thank you for letting me share my story tonight. Thank you for coming. It really, really touches me that you got dressed and came out just to talk about supporting black-owned businesses. Thank you for making our first public announcement of Maggie's List. Thank you all for your support. I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm very looking forward to talking to all of you. Thank you.